Hello, hello friends. Welcome to Sunday here at the Comfiness of Grace. We're going to be doing some art journaling today, and I've chosen this paper to work with, which I'm super excited about. Had this paper, it's in the shop, and I've had this for a long while, and I know I've used one of these panels, but it was so long ago, I'm not even sure which side I used at the time. So we're going to pick one, and I'm going to use it. This is an art journal that is, let's see, how big is it? It's an Arteza. I thought maybe it would say on here. I'll just give you a peek at some of these pages in this art journal. I'm super, I do all kinds of things in my art journals. I don't do just one kind of creative project in here. So anyway, this is the book we're working in. Let's see what size it is. I think it's a 10 by 10. Oh no, gosh, no. Looks like it's an 8.5 by an 8.5 book, which is a good size. It's a nice size to work with. So that's what we're doing. I am live here today for the Crafty Bunch. Just coming off watching Country Loving Market with her project. I was in the Crafty Bunch watching. If you are not a member of the Crafty Bunch yet, go ahead and get in that free group. It's a great place to grab some of these live demonstrations from all sorts of creatives and events inside that free group. And I'm happy to have you here with me. So if you're here from the Crafty Bunch, please let me know that. Say hello, let me know. I'm going to grab the feed and make sure I can see your comments before I get started on the book so that we can chit chat. There we go. All right. Awesome. All right. So who likes to art journal? Who's been art journaling lately? Do you go in phases? Talk to me about it. Hey, thank you, Heidi. Joyful Artistry by Heidi. Hey, sweet darling. Thank you for sharing me over into the group. I appreciate your help. Thanks for volunteering to be part of the group administration today. Hey, Mara. There's my California friend. Gia's here. Hello, Lisa, Lori, and Janet. Happy Sunday. There's Janice from J. Will Creations. If you are not following my creative friends and you see that little follow button after the name, I think you should. I think you should. They're pretty awesome. And it's always good to meet new friends, right? I think so anyway. It's great to have new friends. I'm going to use this one. Let's get it off of here. This is rice paper from Decoupage Queen. I'm just going to use, hopefully there's enough water in here. Yeah, I'm going to use this to pull her off of here. I think she's going to go in the lower right of the page, so it's actually the perfect shape. You know, with this side being straight and straight, I don't mind those being straight. Otherwise, I usually like a torn edge. Look how fast and easy that was, right? So I think what I'm going to do with her is put her here. And today, so let me just say, every Sunday inside my membership group, I do a gratitude journal entry in my gratitude journal. And generally, it's about praise, being grateful to God for all our blessings. I'm going to drop this down just all the way. I want as much room up here as possible. So see how there's quite a bit of a margin there? I guess I am taking that off now because I don't want all of that. Anyway, I normally on Sundays do gratitude journaling inside my membership club other than on days when I have an event to participate in like today. So my Sundays are gratitude journaling mode. I'm just in that mode, so I hope you don't mind me kind of doing a similar type of journal entry today. Gratitude journaling, art journaling, junk journaling. I love them all. I love them all. And I do try to do a bit of all of it here on the page. Now, usually I put something underneath, like stamping or book pages, but I don't think I'm even going to do that right now. I think I'm just going to put her down on there. And I'm just thinking about what supply do I want to use. Not gesso. I'm going to use I got to find it, girls. I got to get it out of the stash of stuff. I'm going to use my gel medium. Since it's right here, it's easy, and I know it'll work really well. We're going to get this down, and then we're going to color and write around her. So thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me, friends. Hey, Alex. Hello, Cindy. Are you guys hanging out from the Crafty Bunch, or how did you come across hanging out with me? I'm just happy you're here. Oh, Telegram. No, gravy. I just was thinking, did you come to me through Telegram? But I forgot to tell the girls on Telegram that I'm live. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Let me do it right now. This will take just a second. Well, maybe 5 seconds. There. I just did it. I just did it. I'm live now. Join me. Oh gosh, I'm sorry to all you Telegrammers. I don't normally forget. It's unusual for me to be live on a public page on Sunday. I normally reserve that for the craft club. All right, let's see if we have enough of this sitting here. Nope, I need some more up here. You probably can't see it. I can see kind of where the wetness is. I know it's translucent, so it just kind of turns the same color as the page. So you probably can't see that medium on there. I love the colors in this, the greens and the pinks, and then just charcoal. It looks like a charcoal pencil that sketched this woman on this paper for this design. So I'm going to use my charcoal pencil, I believe, because you know I'm a big fan of my Stabilos. Let's just see what we get. All right, she's on there, friends. It's that easy. She is in place and just a beauty. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna get those comments back so I can see you. Oh, thanks, Christy. She says prom pics we're fabulous. Cindy, if you want to be on my Telegram channel, I don't use the exclamation points. You'll want to use one of these. I use hashtags on my page in the comments. So do hashtag Telegram and you'll get a link to my Telegram channel. So thanks for posting that, because it made me see that somebody might want to have those links. Let me show you one quick time while I'm getting the edges of this paper really stuck down on there. There you go. All right, links, club, insider, Telegram. Those are my 4 keywords with the hashtag. Okay, I don't know what kind of color medium should I use to color this. Of course, I'm going to use my Stabilo. I'll probably use gesso. I'm going to grab my black Stabilo because she's outlined in black. So I have 2 black Stabilos. Look at this one. It's so well used. Look how tiny it is. And then for color, should I use Inktense pencils? Should I be using my watercolor powders? Those have been really fun to play with. I just don't know if I have enough colors of that to get the pink that I'm looking for. Let me just pull them up and see. I have both color inks and powders here, and I don't think I have any pink powders. I have a lot of greens in the inks. This is a green and this is a green. Olive green, emerald green, burnt umber. I don't think so. That one's lamp black. I'm sure it's like incredibly dark. I'm looking at the colors, girls. Ugh. This box is just a little bit too small for what I need here. Maybe sepia. All right, let's just try. I'm going to wet this with a little bit of gesso, I think. So I don't need the glue anymore, so I'm going to put that aside. All she blue? What's all shy? What's all she blue? Is that a typo, Jennifer? Or is that really the name of it? I don't know what that is. All she blue. All shy, all she blue. Hey, Janice, thanks for the stars, my friend. A really soft pink watercolor. Not a bad idea. I like it. Here's a pink, Lisa. Magenta pink, I just found. Here's a regular pink. All right, she's calling for pink. Let's do pink. Lisa, you picked it, girl. You ask and you shall receive. Now, I want the color of the pink. I want it to be really fair, light, like she's suggesting. I don't want it to be really dark. This is just a piece of watercolor paper. cut. Yes, it is cut the shape of a D. I didn't need it anymore. Used it for my son's graduation last year. I had spelled out his name in watercolor paper, and I don't need it anymore. So I'm going to, over here, I'm going to put a little bit of this white gesso, and we're just going to see, before we go in on here, this will actually give this a minute to dry as well. We're just going to test, I do this all the time. We're just going to test these colors because I don't know how vibrant they are. So I'm going to wet this down with a little bit of gesso. And let's just see, if I put a drop of each of these, what are we getting? This is magenta. I don't even need a full drop to be truthful, I'm sure. See how little that is? This is pink. We can already see, we haven't even spread it out yet, and I can see that the magenta is much darker than the pink. If I take my spritzer and just wet it a little bit, let's see if we can get this to spread out. When we mix it with the white gesso, see how much lighter we can get it? It looks like a perfect blush pink. Okay, I'm going to come over here with the other. So I did that with this corner of the brush. With this corner of the brush, let's touch on the magenta and see what color we're getting. Oh, see how much darker it is? How much more work I would have to do to spread that, and how much more gesso or water to get that to be light. Okay, we know which one. Pink or magenta? It's going to be pink. We're going to go with the pink. Magenta is really pretty, actually, but do you see how far I have to spread it and much I have to spread it to get it to turn into a light pink? That pink was a lot easier, so that's the one we're going to use. I'm not even going to worry about cleaning my brush. We're just going to go right in here and give her a very light pink. And I actually might, I need more room here. Put these away for a second. Here's where my paper line is. I'm not sure that you can see that. And I want what's around her to stay bright. I don't want it to necessarily be pink because I want her to really stand out. And then the pink area is where I'm going to put my phrase, my Bible verse that I have. It actually was the responsorial psalm today. For those of you who are Catholic, I'm a Catholic, and at our mass, part of the mass, we do a responsorial psalm, and the psalm, I think it was Psalm 34. Taste and see the goodness of the Lord. All right, let's just get some white gesso down. My brush had some pink in it, so I'm getting pink on the page, even whether you like it or not, I'm getting it. I'm going over the paper just a little bit to get that gesso. The gesso is pure white. The paper is like a softer white. So I was just taking that gesso and going over the edge of the paper a little bit so they match better. And so the paper doesn't look like it's just sitting on top. We want that to look like it's part of the project, not just sitting separately. So by going over the edge of the paper, we're making sure that these two parts match or are cohesive. They're working together. All right, first of all, white gesso everywhere. Except, you know, obviously I'm not going over her, just over parts of the white part around her, the paper. Then we're going to pull in this pink. I like that Lisa suggested a soft pink watercolor. That's what we're doing. Hey, Lori Pine, how are you? They had fun. Jennifer, they had a lot of fun at the dance. Gia says, my favorite, art journaling. Oh, yay. I'm so glad you're happy. Hey, Jamie Krause. Lynn is here. Welcome, welcome. Thanks, Janice. She says, I love when you art journal. Sina says, do something bright. Sina, maybe we will end up doing that yet. Let's just see what we get here. Let's do the really soft pink and see what we get. Now, I gessoed. I'm going to dry it just a little bit. This is going to give me a nice base for what comes next. We're not doing the greens, but I'm going to keep these off to the side just in case I need them. Now, I want to put taste and see the goodness of the Lord. That's not a lot of space to write that. I kind of want to write it big, but we'll just see what we get here. I'm not going to worry too much about that until we get the color down. Okay, so the gesso, like a really common question is, what is gesso? What does it do? It's a primer for for my paper or for your substrate. So that could be your substrate means your surface. So it's a primer for canvases, for paper, for wood, like whatever you're going to be putting your colors on, whether your color is a watercolor, a pencil, a marker, whatever color medium you're going to use. It's a nice primer. It will give a nice barrier between your paper and your watercolors so that your watercolors don't just suck right into the paper, right? Because paper is absorbent. So when you're working with liquid mediums on paper, having a coat of gesso in between, you're going to use less liquid medium, you're going to use less watercolor. It's going to be less work. It's not going to just suck right into the paper. I'm going to have more room to creatively move that color around. If I just put it right in the paper, like I did on this watercolor, when I put that right in the paper, it just sucks right down. I can't move that around anymore. It's sucked into the paper and I'm going to have very little room to move that around. But by putting a barrier of gesso in between, it's kind of it's a primer. It's a primer. So that's why we did that. It's going to make it a lot easier to create. And I'm going to have more freedom to move the color around. No, I didn't sketch her. This is a 2-piece. She came from right here on this piece of paper. This is a decoupage queen rice paper that I sell in my shop. I put the link in the description. They are called Sweet and Sassy Rose Portraits, and you get the 2 of them. Now, I love to sketch women and girls. I love to do faces. In fact, the page before this, I was kind of playing. But a lot of times, like I'll use a napkin or a decoupage. She's sketched, but I stamped this stuff. They were supposed to be flower petals. I stamped them as flower petals on her face. That's a stamp. Sometimes I sketch, but more often than not, I use decoupage, like rice papers or napkins or stamps or something to give me stencils, to give me a base shape to work with. So there you have it. Now, I've got my gesso. This paper, the rice paper, is still a little damp, but I'm not really looking to put a ton of color on that, so I'm not worried about it. Right here is where I want to put the pink. Right here and right here. So I'm going to spray a little water to get it wet and ready. Over here I have there's just a little bit of gesso on that piece of paper. And let's take the pink and we're going to come back in here. And actually I would be better off doing this in here because the porcelain isn't going to absorb my gesso and water. It's just going to sit in the porcelain. But the paper is always going to absorb whatever I put on it. So I'm going to put it in here. I'm going to take that gesso and I'm going to water it down a little. I want it to be really fluid. And then we're going to add a bit of that pink into it. Well, maybe what I'll do, you can do it any way you want. There's really no right or wrong. You create whatever way you want. And it is really fun in an art journal to experiment. If you're trying to figure out how your supplies work. Yeah, I think I'll just, like I did on that watercolor paper over here, I'm just going to put a drop of that pink and spread it around to get a really soft pink moving. Usually I like the edges to be a little bit more dark and then the insides to be softer because that's where I'm going to be writing. But I don't get too worked up if things don't work out the way I want. I feel like it's a great way to get to know my supplies, to kind of play on the pages. Now, if I touch that, the rice paper, which has a white background, if I touch that with the pink, it's just going to suck up that pink. So keep that in mind. It's not that bad. It's just, it is going to absorb that pink. The paper does go all the way to the top. That I know it's hard for you to see, but that rice paper does go all the way to the top. Are you guys hanging out with the Crafty Bunch today, watching all the creatives? Did you know there's a Crafter's Choice event today? That's what I'm participating in. If you didn't know, when I'm done creating with you guys, when I'm done hanging out with you, we each get 45 minutes. You might want to head on over into the Crafty Bunch and hang out with the other ladies who are creating and sharing today. You never know what you'll be inspired by, right? Okay, I don't like not having the pink here, I have to admit. What do you think? Would you leave this plain white or should I add some pink over here? It is such a pretty color. Lisa Kid, thanks for the suggestion. I'm going to grab my gesso. And this is a little dark right there. I'm just going to grab the gesso and see if I can get that to fade just a little more. It's kind of fun to just play with your colors and your brushes or your sponges or however you like to apply. Should we put some pink down here? Pink on the bottom, yes or no? Happy Sunday. Hello, Debbie Gladden. Carol's here. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Tammy. How are you, Shauna? I see you girls. Oh, thanks, Trisha. Thanks for saying that. I appreciate you. Hello, Pam McDonald. Yeah, they had fun. Prom was yesterday. They had fun. They were out late. Like, oh, yikes. It's kind of painful. I'm saying, somebody said, oh, Tammy says she would leave it. And Jamie says, add the pink. Gia and Trisha say, add the pink. I kind of like the brightness of it, but let's see if we can just do a little. Let's just see if we can do a little. How about this? Instead of putting it right on the paper, I'm just going to put a drop of it in here. This stuff is so powerful. These watercolor liquids. I'm adding a little water in here. You can see right away that really softened that up. That way I'm not coming in immediately with really, really harsh color. And then let's just brush the edges. So I don't lose all my white, but I add a little bit of that pink. And I probably will come in, see these parts right here? I might just put a little pink in there too. So it makes sense, like, so it looks like it just blends right into this corner right here. Otherwise, it might just look like a pink line if it's not incorporated into the background, maybe of her or even her dress. She has, I don't know if she has a dress or a shirt on. You can't really tell. She does have, you know, you can see the shape of her body. So if you wanted to like color her dress, I suppose you could go in with another color and do that. But what I'm going to try to do is just, the girls said more of you voted for blending the pink into the background of her. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. So we're going to get it in this lower right corner, but so that I don't just have two pink lines along the edges, I'm dipping the corner of that brush with that littlest bit of pink. And I'm just kind of putting it along this line behind the leaves and the flowers that she's holding, the bouquet. So that it just seems to make more sense, right? I'm going to add just a little bit more color. When I look up at the camera, it's so interesting. When I look at it with my eye to paper, it looks different than when I look at my computer screen next to me where I'm looking at your comments. The pink looks a little bit more bold in my raw eye than it does translate onto the camera. So interesting. All right. All right. I'm going to actually put a little bit more in here. I'm going to take some of that. Oh my gosh, there's hardly any of that pink left, but it is giving a tinge of pink to the paper's edge. But this paper edge, where you see all this white, that is the paper. That is the rice paper. And it actually, it kind of gives her a glow. I think by I put the pink down in here and I put a little bit on the paper here, but I'm leaving all of this purposefully so she kind of has a glow about her, which I really like. Now I got to fit this phrase. I really want to fit this phrase on here. Isn't that a pretty background? I may do a little stamping. I don't know. It's just so pretty and soft. Usually I do a lot of layers on the background, but I might not even want to do that today. I'm going to grab this supply. Thanks, Janet. Thank you, Michelle. I'm glad you guys are chit-chatting in the comments. Okay, I use this quite often. This is a technique I encourage the ladies in the club to remember, that you have this option. Tracing pad paper. Okay, I don't know how I'm going to do this, how I'm going to get these words on here. So instead of going right on my project, I'm going to take any see-through paper. Heck, it could be parchment paper, tissue paper, something thin that you can write on. And I'm just going to try to space out the phrase so I know what room I have to work with. So let's dry it first, because when I put this on here, it's so thin, I don't want it to stick and rip. Thanks, ladies. What is everybody up to today? Did anybody else have a prom weekend? We had a prom for our local high school. My son is a senior. He went to prom last night with his girlfriend, Chastity, and another couple, Yannen's friend Ty and his girlfriend. And they all went to the dance, and they went to dinner, and then they went to the dance. And then after the dance, they have an after prom party. Did you guys? Okay. We did not do it the same way. I grew up in Massachusetts. Proms, maybe they're different now, but back when I grew up, they weren't like this. But here in North Dakota, they go to dinner on their own. That's not how it was in Massachusetts where I grew up. Dinner was part of our prom. But anyway, they go to dinner on their own, and then they go to the prom, where they have the first thing that they do is called the grand, I think they call it the Grand March. And they have all the couples get announced and march in on like this beautifully decorated stage. That's the theme for the prom. And they announce them all, and they get to stand in front of it, like anybody who wants to go. So it's like all the families and teachers and, you know, friends who want to gather. And we watch them all process, basically, in front of the crowd, which for the girls must be so nerve-wracking. And then after that, they break down the stage, and all the chairs and all those go away. And then they're on the gym floor, and they have a dance on the dance floor. Then after that, at around midnight, they go to the after prom party, which is organized by the parents. And they have a great little party for the kids after prom. And they do all kinds of things. It just depends on the year. Sometimes they have a theme, and it's just games and prizes and fun, just good fun with, you know, chaperoned party. So it works out really well for the kids. It's really safe. The parents love that the kids have a safe place to go and hang out and continue the party, you know, the prom party. And then Gannon didn't get home till 3 a.m. So that was a pretty late night. Okay, see how I can see where my design is? This is what I have to work with to put my words. So I'm gonna see. Like, how much space do I have? How big can these letters be? Will I be able to stamp anything else on here? So I'm just gonna see, how would I do this? I could do it bigger. See, already I'm like thinking this word right here. Maybe I could do it. I like to be kind of clever and not be like, not write the way you would on a standard piece of paper. Will this fit? Oh boy, that's really close, but it fit. I could do that. Taste and see the goodness of the Lord. It actually, by making these those 3 words, by making them real small and on the edge, I can really highlight these words. And look at how much room I have. I actually could go bigger, but I don't think I will. I think this is the widest point for writing. The biggest word is goodness. So I really want goodness to land around there, and then I can make it big, right? So I'm going to try this again. Same piece of paper. I have an idea. So I'm going to try this again. I want goodness to land right here. So I'm going to start with goodness, actually. And let's make this nice and big. I think it can be kind of artistic and fun to play with your lettering so that all the lettering isn't the same size. And I like to pick the words that I really want to jump out at me on the page. So now I've got to fit taste and see the above it and of the Lord below it. Okay, so I'm going to go like this. Let's test this out. I can make these even bigger. Taste and see the goodness. And then I don't have to put these words on the side. If I can fit goodness there, that's the biggest word, then I can fit Lord here. And I still have room down here. I could write Psalm 34. I could write anything I want. I could stamp a butterfly. I mean, you could do anything that you wanted in these blank spaces if you wanted to. I actually think I wouldn't even do that because I like the softness of it. Okay, so that'll fit. Now I know it'll fit. The thing I have to figure out is what pen, marker, what color. I was thinking I was going to use my charcoal pencils, but you know, a charcoal pencil's water reactive. So, you know, I can write it. It's going to look like a pencil mark, but then if I wet it, look what happens. If it gets wet at all, unless you spray a top coat on it, right? So I don't think I'll actually use that. I think I do want black. So let me look through my supplies. Like this is a black pen that supposedly writes on any surface. It's like supposed to write real well on any surface. Let's get it going though, because I haven't used it in a while. Oh, it might be running out of ink. I always test off of your project before you go on, because you do not want to start in on it and then be like, oh, I ran out of ink. Is this thing running low? It appears it's not writing real well, so I better not. I do have several paint markers with different nibs, like different tips on them. Like, see how I don't want it quite that bold. That's too like in your face. Nope, don't want it. Not having it. I have these, which are super fine tip. You guys, I'm super visual, so this is why I do this beforehand, and this is why I have this piece of paper, and I'm going to try these markers and pens before this is a brush, and I think even the brush is going to be too, where did it go? Brush is going to be too big. No, I don't like it. All right, this was a set. They're micro pens, kind of, they all come in different sizes. I want something bigger. Let's go with this 0.8. I'm running out of room here to test. That's better. This is a good candidate, but still not so sure. This is a felt tip. Yeah, this is it. I can tell already. I like the way it writes. This is just a Papermate Flare medium tip. Yes, Jamie, it's so nice. So the parents can volunteer to work the after party, and they usually have lots of like stations where the kids can go and do like, you know, we have beanbag toss. Usually it's like games like that. Beanbag toss. They have the bouncy houses, usually stuff like that. Well, last night they did it at a local community. It's a new like rec center, and they have a bowling alley. This is the first time we were able to do it there, because it just opened in this past year. So the bowling alley, and they did have bouncy houses, and there's like a playground in there, just like family fun stuff. They have like e-games in there, and yeah, Gannon said they had a really good time. All right, we're going in for it, girls. Now, if Kim from Lolly Doodle Studios was here, well, if she was here, and even when she's not here, I'm going to sing her praises. I am not a hand letterer. Like, I have tried to learn how to hand letter. How many of you guys do it? I don't have any confidence in it. I don't feel like I'm good at it. Kim has been a guest in my craft club, and she's a lefty actually, and she does a beautiful job teaching hand lettering to people. She breaks it all down. She has a great book for starters. She tells you what markers to use. She tells you how to hold your pen, which order to do it. She tells you everything you need to know. The reality for me is I don't have the patience to practice it. So I just use my own handwriting, and I don't know. it's fine for me. It's fine for me. So that's what I do. If you are a hand letterer, you're a perfect candidate for art journaling. Taste and see the goodness of the Lord. Now, I feel like I'm coming in, it's a little bit thin for me, so I'm going to come in and just use my pen, the same marker, and I'm going to make more marks, and I might just make this word and the word Lord a little more bold I'm not really trying to be right on the line. I'm trying to be purposefully messy about it, as you can see. It's kind of my style anyway. I am going to go over them to make them bolder, but I'm not trying to be on the line. I'm trying to be off the line purposefully, so it looks sketched and purposefully messy. Well, it is sketched and perfectly messy. I wish I had made these O's bigger, so I'm just going to go around them. You could use a stencil. Like if you don't want to handwrite in your books, you can use a stencil. I've gotten over that. I call myself a recovering perfectionist. I'm not good at handwriting really consistently, so I don't worry about it anymore, because here's my thought on this. I don't think, let me check my timing. Yeah, we still have time. I don't think that we should be stressing over stuff like this. I think we should be enjoying the process. We are not paid artists. We are creative people, creative women mostly, who hang out with me at the Comfy Nest, just trying to enjoy ourselves. So I'm really encouraging you ladies to just take the pressure off of yourself to have your creations be anything particular. You know, they don't need to be perfect. They don't need to be worthy of putting on Pinterest. I mean, just stop it with your bad self. Like, girls, it's in your art journal. It can just be what it is. And by doing the lettering yourself, you actually get to practice, and you get to practice different pens. What style, what color do you like? What style do you like? Most of the time I use gold gel pens when I write in books. But this time I thought, with all the black sketching on her, that I would emulate the black with a black felt tip marker. Everybody has a felt tip marker somewhere in their house. Even a Sharpie would work. So I'm just making these stick out even more. Now, the two words that I wanted to be biggest, I'm going to be a little more dramatic with them. Purposefully not being neat about it, as you can see. So I would encourage you to just play and not worry so much. I think the more you do it too, the more freedom you'll feel to just be free and not worry that it's not. I'm really bad at the words all being the same size, so consistency and scale. I really struggle with both of those things, but I've learned to do the tracing paper trick to help me figure out scale, like how big do these things need to be, and then to just really let go of my idea of it having to be a certain way, right? Like perfect or anything. Thanks, Alex. Thanks, Gia. Hey, Benita, welcome, welcome. You have no patience for it, Shauna. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like it would be an interesting conversation to have if you could get a group of ladies together in a room and just chat about it. Is it a personality trait? Like my lack of patience with learning how to hand letter the right way. It may just be, it just may be a personality trait, right? Like, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. But it'd be an interesting conversation to have with other people. Now, I don't normally add a whole lot of like tails, or like here you see on a lot of times on the H or on an N, like, so the word the, a lot of times on the H, like that's about as fancy as I get, is I'll put a little extra thing there, but I don't normally do a whole lot because I'm not good at it and I don't know how to do it. So I usually just don't embellish them a whole lot. When, you know, people who hand letter, you know, they might do the, and the E may come up and be something beautiful. I don't know how to do it, girls. If you really want to learn how to do that and you want to have a really patient and talented teacher, she's really good at it. Follow Kim over at Lolly Doodle Studios. Go over and hang out with her and you'll see how good she is at this. Okay, I very well may leave this all blank. I'm not sure yet, but notice the color of the sketches around her and the flowers are actually lighter than my bold marker. The marker is like really bold, and then that makes her a little softer. So I'm going to come around on her and I'm just going to add more sketching to her. So her face shape, her neck, I'm going to make her, in fact, let me focus on the left side of her so you can see the difference. The lines that the original artist put there, I'm just going to make them bolder, just like I did my words, so that they stand out and they are not, you know, completely going off to the side. So even on her hair, I'm going to take some of the main squigglies, sketch marks of her hair, and I'm just going to, this is so relaxing to do this, you guys, like seriously, so relaxing. You can listen to your favorite music, have a cup of tea, or watch a movie and do this. Grab yourself a whole bunch of different rice papers and napkins. Go to my shop, thecompinesswithgrace.com, shop from there. If you are a club member, don't forget to use your discount code. And then, you know, decoupage it down, add your favorite phrase. It is like a really good formula for creating in a very low stress way. All right, she even has like little like things flying around her that aren't really part of her hair. I don't know what they are, like they're just little marks. Doing the same thing on the flowers, okay? I'm gonna come around on these flowers and I'm gonna outline the flowers to make them really pop off of here and get more notice. I'm not following every single line that the original artist did. I'm just adding to them. Okay. And I'm focusing on the left side so that you can see the difference when I do this and for the right side that hasn't been done. I don't have to do this. In fact, you don't even have to do this in black. I actually think I may even add some gold to this. You can even hear how hard I'm pushing because I really want a lot of black ink. Okay, can you see the difference from the left side to the right side? How much? Now, I did do the right side of her head up here. And then I was like, oh yeah, let me just leave this side undone. All of that is done. And you see the difference, how soft that is? You may like it soft, just leave it soft if that's what you like. But this is a really relaxing thing to do. And it's a great way to get confidence in sketching and adding marks on your pages without any pressure, because it is literally in a notebook, right? This is an art journal. Grab a composition notebook. You know, we have so many composition notebooks left over from my kids' years in school. You know, they have a math notebook and they've only used half of it. We've never thrown them out. I have loads and loads of composition notebooks that I could just open up and sit while I'm watching TV with my markers or my pencils and some papers, glue down the paper, and then practice the sketching around. It'll help build your confidence. And there is something about your hand moving that, what is it, like that memorization, your hand memorizing how to hold a pen to make these marks. It's something that probably Kim would talk to you too about when you learn how to do lettering. But I love the sketching and I love adding these like little details. And I usually take the creative freedom to just do more than what's even there because I just find it so relaxing and fun. All right. Wow. So simple, but now she's popping off there, as are her flowers. And we kept all the original colors of the rice paper. Now this is just me, I kind of do like to add some edging. And so I'm going to take my Stabilo pencil, my charcoal pencil, and come around We have about a minute left. Come around. I'm just going to do this and I'll show you the difference. Let me just do top and right. This probably still has a little wetness to it. So when I activate, see the difference? Activated, not activated. This charcoal pencil can really add a dramatic frame around your pages. And they come in different colors. I really like the black. I think it's pretty classic. And I usually do draw it down into the corners a little bit. Like you can see, I take a little bit of that and scratch it into the corners. All right. Now I did the top and right, so you could see the difference. It's lovely both ways. There's no right or wrong. Just do whatever you like. Do whatever you feel like doing. Okay. Listen, thanks for being here with me, ladies, for kind of gratitude journaling today. My name is Grace at The Comfy Nest with Grace. I would love to have you hang out with me. Please make sure to follow and like this video, follow, share if you can. Head on over into the Crafty Bunch because there will be somebody up right now. Next, let's go over, hop in there and say hello to the next creative. I appreciate you all. Thanks for being with me. Have a blessed evening.